You know, Mexico is the new China. The other day, Nabisco, Oreos, right? Oreos. I love Oreos. I'll never eat them again. Okay? I'll never eat them again. No, Nabisco closes a plant they just announced a couple of days ago in Chicago, and they're moving the plant to Mexico. Now, why? Why?
Okay, stop. Populist. Mm-hmm. What is he doing? Don't move to Mexico. The populist thing to say, and the crowd reacts. Now, when I heard this clip over the weekend, I thought to myself, now, wait a minute. Why is Nabisco moving? He immediately says, I'll never need to eat another Oreos again. I'll never eat them again. He goes on.
Have you heard my story? My favorite story is Ford. You've heard the story with Ford? Do we want to hear it again or not? Yes. All right. I mean, that's a big one. So Ford, great company, they're building a $2.5 billion car factory in Mexico.
Okay. He hates this. Let me just point out two things. First of all, Ford is the only one that didn't take a bailout from the United States government. So if you're not taking a bailout from the United States government, you have to make your company work. Why is Ford moving to Mexico? Because they love Mexicans? Because they love Mexico so much? Or because they cannot afford to do business here in the United States? And that is the reason Nabisco moved. In a constitutional conservative, a small government conservative, Ronald Reagan does not stand up there and say, I'm never going to eat an Oreo again. Ronald Reagan stands up and says, they moved their plant. They lost all those jobs. Why? Because they were chased out by the high corporate taxes, the highest, and this is why Nabisco is moving, because we have the highest corporate tax in the world. He doesn't say the rich should pay more. He says we have the highest corporate tax in the world, and we're going to lose more companies. Nabisco, I'm president. You don't have to worry about moving, and we don't have to worry about losing those jobs because I will make us competitive again. What does Donald Trump do? He becomes a populist and makes people boo Nabisco, boo Oreos. At that rate, you're going to lose every single company in America that counts because we have the highest corporate tax rates. Stop demonizing the companies and start fixing the problem to make us competitive again. He says, I'm going to make us competitive. How? When you're booing Nabisco for moving because we have the highest corporate tax rate. How? When you're implying that you should boycott Oreos because they're now in Mexico. Here's what happens. If you stay in the United States, you become the Twinkie and you go out of business. And then instead of having a company like Ford still at least owns the company, instead you go out of business and a Mexican company buys Twinkies and then they make them there, they sell them here, and all of the money goes back to Mexico. Which do you prefer, Mr. Constitutional Conservative Donald Trump? Help me out. And I'd like to hear from his supporters. Help me out. He loves government health care. This isn't on the past. This is on the campaign trail. He loves Canadian health care. He says he's for a flat tax, but he wants the rich to pay more. He says that the reason why we had the stock market crash yesterday is because of poor planning, and boycott Oreos because they moved because of the highest corporate tax rate in the world. Help me out. Tell me exactly. How is this guy a Republican conservative? I'll tell you who he is. He is a Republican progressive. You want more of the same stuff, except with attitude, in your face, a bully, then vote for Donald Trump. You want conservative principles, constitutional principles, lower taxes, lower corporate tax rates, freedom in insurance. You're not going to get it from a guy who says the Canadian thing is good. I'm sorry, but I don't understand it. Oh, and by the way, Rupert Murdoch says that now that Trump is in, we should get another guy in. Another guy who is a great conservative, one of the best mayors ever. Bloomberg. Because he's a Republican as well. Progressive Republicans. Please don't let us have to spend the next 4 or 8 years trying to teach the Republicans what you already know. Progressivism is a cancer that kills the Constitution. Now, do you need to have an up-close lesson that Republicans are the ones who started it? And I love these people who say, Glenn Beck's just fighting for the establishment. Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind?